can you please look up this thing?
See if we can figure out something.
Okay, wait a minute.
This court stream started like this, so I'm also going in with no context, but let me know wrong answers only in the comments what you think they're talking about.
Have money. They
Oh,
come
no.
to the house.
That's big thing. They come to your house. That's what that's called motivation.
Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I wonder. I'm in two here. I don't understand. I'm connecting.
You
again.
can't hear?
I don't know where. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
I'm showing that I'm connecting again. I don't know why.
Oh, because you connected with a phone or something. You connected with two things.
No,
You wanted to be here twice.
I guess so. I charged double.
All right, Ms. Kimber, y'all want to start? Bostic, you ready with Miguel Villapando?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm ready.
All right, Bostic, it's position 8 through 13. Hold on, let me yell at the dogs. Miguel Villapando, 324 days without indictment, burglary in the second degree, a $1,500 good bond as of January the 24th. 23 CP 219001, burglary in the first degree, 324 days without indictment, $1,500 good bond as of January the 24th. 23 CP 219002, burglary in the second degree, 324 days without indictment, burglary in the second degree, $900 good bond as of January the 24th. 23 CP 219003, 324 days without indictment, burglary in the second degree, $900 good bond out of January 24th. 23 CP 219004, burglary in the second degree, 324 days without indictment, $900 good bond as of January 24th. 23 CP 219005, 324 days without indictment, burglary in the second degree, $900 good bond as of January the 24th.
Antecedentes.
Perfect. Go ahead, Bostic. You're on mute, Bostic.
Good thing I didn't say much. 4 cycles. Yes, there's another burglary that's not on the calendar, 23 CP 218998. He's on probation for 2 cases. One is interference with government property. The other one is home invasion, meth, drug-related objects. Sentence 32923. 1 year confinement, 9 years probation, 1 FTA and 23, nothing further.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Kennebrew.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Villapando has been in custody for 324 days without an indictment. He is 49 years of age. He has a valid address in Sandy Springs, Georgia, which is still in Fulton County. He is the father of 4. He has been in Georgia for over 2 years. He graduated from high school. He was arrested May 30th of 2023 and had a preliminary hearing on October 31st of 2023. The other case that you spoke of, that Madam Pretrial spoke of, isn't on the calendar because it already has a UJR. So I requested that it didn't get calendared. Notwithstanding the 2 cases that he is on probation for that were handled in March of 2023, Mr. Villapando has been held in custody for almost a year. While being in custody, he is unable to be a productive citizen. He is unable to make money to provide for himself or his family. And he is essentially being punished before a conviction because he is unable to make the bonds that he cannot afford. The purpose of a pretrial bond is to prevent punishment before a conviction and simply to secure his appearance in court. Georgia law requires that the court considers his financial resources and obligations in determining his amount of bail. We are thus requesting a UJR on all cases. If you are not inclined to grant a UJR on all cases, we're requesting a UJR on at least 3 of the cases and for the bond not to exceed $3,000 on the other 3. Thank you.
Ms. Kennebrew, is he going to live in Fulton County or can he live somewhere else?
No, Your Honor, he will be residing in Fulton County with a family member.
Does he have a passport he can surrender?
Not that I am aware of, Your Honor. And just so that the court is aware, some of the items that were alleged to have been taken were Pokemon cards and Yu-Gi-Oh cards and stuffed animals. There was an alleged vintage gun, but nobody could produce a serial number or any pictures of that gun.
All right. What says the state? You're on mute, Mr. Reed. That's okay.
I understand he's been in a long time. I just think with the number of charges, I don't know if a UGR and everything is appropriate. I mean, if you try to connect him with the bonding company, you don't have to answer that. It's just,
I absolutely have. I've also tried getting him through the bail project to no avail.
I could see maybe lowering the two bonds that are set higher than the others. And of course, it's in the discretion of the court, but I don't think he should have a UGR on everything.
Where are we on indicting this case?
I wish I knew the answer, Your Honor. I'm looking at it the same as everyone, so I do not know the answer.
4 North, Booth 3. It's not a mirror, sir. Please sit up straight. 4 North, Booth 3. Sit up straight, and it's not a mirror, okay? Stop fixing your hair, whatever you're doing, all right?
I'm listening, you're talking to somebody else, Your Honor.
All right, so Ms. Kennebrew, I'll put his name on my email tonight to Ms. Willis.
Hopefully the state will move the case now.
Now, let me make sure the other case is 23 CP 218998. I want to make sure I get them all on the email.
That is correct.
Okay. For position 8, ending in 9000, no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no replicas of weapons. No further contact with Charles and Michelle Peoples. Stay away from 13 Milton, Georgia. Stay out of Milton, Georgia altogether. If available, he'll have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew. Lawyer, medical, employment. He has to supply the name of his employer, proof of employment, schedule, and the exact location he'll be working. Must surrender a passport if he has one. He can surrender that to his attorney and she can give it to whoever's above her so they can figure out what to do with it.
Are you sure you don't want that responsibility, Judge Manning?
Oh, no. $1,000 good bond. Position 9, ending in 9001. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no replicas of weapons. No further contact with Camilla Comstock, Kimela Comstock. Stay away from Milton, Georgia, and stay out of Milton, Georgia altogether. Have an ankle monitor paid for by the county if available. 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, medical, employment. Provide the name of his employer, proof of employment, schedule, and the exact location he'll be working. Must surrender the passport. What's the supervisor of y'all's? What's the name of whoever's the head of y'all's office? What's his title?
His name is Maurice Kenner.
And what's his title?
He is the director of the Office of the Public Defender.
All right, surrender his passport.
No, he's the circuit public defender. That's his title. It's a circuit public defender.
All right, surrender his passport to the circuit public defender of Fulton County, Mr. Kenner. And it'll be a $1,000 good bond. Position 10, ending in 9002. Make this a $500 good bond. No further contact with Andrew. Last name Goudellock.
Contacto con Andrew Doc.
See, I wasn't real sure how to pronounce it in English. So.
Doc.
Right. Stay away from 13 Highway 9 in Milton, Georgia, and stay out of Milton, Georgia. Tell the somebody must surrender his passport to the circuit public defender, Mr. Kenner. No drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, no replicas of weapons. And also have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew. Court, lawyer, medical, employment, supply the name of his employer, proof of employment, schedule, and the exact location he'll be working. Position 11, ending in 9003. $500 good bond. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from that Andrew Goudellock again. Stay away from 0 Highway 9 in Milton, Georgia. Stay out of Milton, Georgia. And I already said the no drugs, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Surrender his passport to the circuit defender, Mr. Kenner. Ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew. Court, lawyer, medical, employment. Supply the name of his employer, proof of employment, schedule, and the exact location he'll be working. All right. In position 12, ending in 9004. This will be a $500 good bond. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no replicas of weapons. No further contact with Archie Torando, Torando. Stay away from 13 Highway 9 in Milton, Georgia, and stay out of Milton, Georgia. Have an ankle monitor paid for by the county if available with a 24-hour curfew. Court, lawyer, medical, employment, as long as you supply the name of your employer, proof of employment, schedule, and the exact location you'll be working. And same thing, surrender the passport to the circuit public defender. All right, now, position 13, last one, 9005. $500 good bond. No further contact with Paul Lewis and Jenica Henson. Stay away from Highway 9 in Milton, Georgia, and stay out of Milton, Georgia. Must surrender his passport to the Circuit Public Defender, Mr. Kenner. Warren Oath, booth 3, have a seat. All right, and ankle monitor paid for by the county if available with a 24-hour curfew. Court, lawyer, medical, employment, as long as he supplies the name of his employer, proof of employment schedule, and the exact location he'll be working. Best of luck to you, sir.
Suerte,
Thank you, Your
señor.
Honor. I have 3 more positions. I'm actually covering for Barrett Browning, and I have another myself. The Kareem Cashland case is mine.
Oh, okay. You have a good evening, Ms. Chavez.
You all have a good evening. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. All right, let's see what we got now. Mark Simmons. All right, position 2, Bostic 23 CP 218019, 91 days without indictment, a $10,000 good bond as of 4/28/23.
I'll explain, Judge.
I was going to say, did he go to DOC? Because it's just been here 91 days without indictment. Looks like there's a $10,000 good bond on theft by receiving stolen property.
Mark Simmons, 28 cycles. Last felony was 2012 for reckless conduct, 2 FTAs, nothing further.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Alfarasi.
Thank you, Judge. So this is a case that he had first appearance. That bond that he last had was set on first appearance in April 28th, 2023. He bonded out 8 days later. He paid the bond and bonded out. And he was out for a while. What happened was he had missed a court date in one of his other cases that's since been resolved. It was a state court case. And the bonding company came off of all of his cases. So then they brought him back in. He's since been in the Fulton County Jail for 91 days. Based on this. All of his other cases are all resolved. We were looking to resolve this, but that's not what's happening right now. So what we're asking is for a UJR in this case, Judge. And I'm gonna break out more. He has 2 different holds, so I just asked for a UJR to the holds, or just a blanket UJR to be clean. Because he already did pay a bond on this case and they just surrendered. And not all bonding companies do that. But this particular bonding company decided to do that. We have a good mailing address for Mr. Sims. It is his sister's house. He's 52 years old. We have good contact information for him and his wife, Judge. They've been here in Atlanta since about 2000. He's been married to his wife for 18 years, and they have 3 children. They have 2 adult children that live in Florida, but they have a 12-year-old son that lives here in Georgia. He has family here. He has his sister, his family, his kids, and his wife, and as well as his brother who has Parkinson's. And Mr. Simmons helps with his brother, helps take care of him. He has his GED, Judge. He's also certified in forklift operation. He was, at the time of his arrest in this case, was working for Pepsi Cola. He thinks he can return back to that job. If not that one, he can pick up another forklift job. He's not concerned about that. If you look at the facts of this case, Judge, the incident is from November 2022, and it's theft by receiving. It is a car. That's the item. We never had a prelim in this case. If you look at the whole warrant, there's actually a lot of details in the warrant. I have questions about the issues of the knowing element, to be perfectly honest with you, Judge. And so that's why we're looking forward to either move forward with this case or we're just trying to get Mr. Simmons out of jail. And we have financial issues, Judge. He's the main breadwinner in the family. His wife has been working in Uber, and they've been staying in hotels in Gwinnett County because they're trying to keep their.
Oops, sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. So I was making sure you're there, Judge. They're trying to keep their son in Gwinnett County so they keep him in a stable school. So she's paying a lot of money to these extended stay hotels. She's trying to just keep them afloat. Mr. Simmons is the bigger breadwinner. If he comes in, he can really help them out and get them a more stable address. But we have a stable mailing address. He has contacts here in the community. So I'm just asking for a signature bond, Judge, UJR.
Did we hear from Bostic? Did I completely forget about Bostic?
We heard from Bostic, Judge.
Jeez. Go ahead, Mr. Reed.
I'm trying to see. I looked at this earlier, and I don't see the warrant. The warrant, it's not letting me view it. Is the warrant on jail manager?
It's filed in the case.
Warrant's in there.
In the commitment order.
Oh, there's a commitment.
What happened to this? Was there a battery charge here or not?
The simple battery, he was booked in on a simple battery. That was that misdemeanor case I referenced, Judge. It's since been resolved, time served.
I'm not able to access the warrant. I mean, normally what I do for theft by receiving an auto is 5,000. Normally what I would do. If that's that I've seen the warrant, I mean that that's what I would go down to. Usually is 5,000. Just what I do. But like, you know, if I'm able to access it, if there are issues with proof or whatever, I can take a look at that. I can't see it.
I mean, it's a car. The car wasn't even reported stolen. If you look what it says in the warrant. Judge, have you read the warrant?
I did, because I made all my little notes on the paperwork
Okay.
from.
And Judge, the reason why we're trying to ask for such a reduction is because he already did pay money on this. He did not get that money back. And
Yeah.
again, we're dealing with financial situation.
Mr. Reed, you finished?
I'd recommend a $5,000 good bond.
No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no replicas of weapons. Stay away from Mercedes-Benz, one Mercedes-Benz drive. Stay away from 5-8 for further contact with Tiana Fleming, Flemin.
Judge,
Yep.
Tiana Fleming is his wife, and that was in that.
Oh, this was a fight that went bad, and she said, "You ain't taking my car. I'm reporting stolen."
Well, no. Miss Fleming doesn't own the car in question, Judge.
Okay,
It's
so
owned by
who's the owner?
Mercedes? It's owned by
Okay, so-
Mercedes, I believe. Miss Fleming is his wife, and then she was the alleged victim in the simple battery case. That's since been resolved, and
Okay,
the final deposition on that is no violent contact with her. So I would either ask for no violent
Okay.
contact in this, or just leave that off.
All right, we'll leave it off. We'll leave it off.
Apparently, yeah, she may be incarcerated. That's what my victim person is saying.
Miss Fleming's not incarcerated. She's taking care of their son.
Okay. All right. This is Mark Simmons.
It is.
Okay. That was our information from, I guess, her mother, but I don't know.
All right, well, stay out of Fulton County unless you're here for quarter to see your lawyer, sir. Stay out of Fulton County unless you're here for quarter to see your lawyer. $3,000 bond through the 10% shares program. Best of luck to you, sir.
And Judge, that completes my business. May I be excused?
Yes, ma'am. Have a good evening.
Judge, there was no ankle monitor on Mr. Simmons, correct?
No, that's okay. And we got now Javaria Scott. Thank you, Ms. Sofros. You have a good weekend.
Simmons, I'll be out and see you. I'll come out and talk to you about it, okay?
All right, position 14, Bostic 23, CP 224458, 115 days without indictment, a $2,000 good bond as of January the 18th for burglary in the first degree. And the date of this incident was 2018. Rah!
Who did you say?
Javaria Scott, number 14.
That's the person. Scott. 14 cycles. Currently on probation for burglary. Sentence in 2021, 1 year confinement, 4 years probation, prior criminal damage to property. Also, there's another theft by receiving stolen property and entering autos. Nothing further.
All right. Go ahead, Ms. Kennebrew.
Yes, Your Honor, and I'm covering for Ms. Browning just for today. The warrants alleged that this burglary took place between July 5th, 2018 and July 27th, 2018. The defendant was transferred to Fulton County from the Department of Corrections. He had served 5 years and was directly brought here to Fulton County the end of December 2023 after completing his prison sentence. At the very least, the crime took place 5 years, 8 months, and 25 days ago, exceeding the expiration of the statute of limitations, even when including the additional 1 year and 4 months for the COVID tolling. This case has not been indicted and it should be dismissed. Mr. Scott has been in Fulton County custody for 115 days. This case, again, is almost 6 years old and it has still not been indicted. Mr. Scott is 29 years of age. He was born and raised here in Georgia. He's a lifelong resident. His family on his mother's side are all here, including all of his siblings. He does have a local Atlanta address where he will be residing, and that is in Fulton County. While he was incarcerated, he did take classes in culinary arts, and he also completed a reentry program, which means he can qualify for employment through AMARC when he is released from Fulton County custody. We are requesting a UJR. Again, this crime is really old.
Go ahead, Mr. Reed.
Your Honor, so there's not a statute of limitations issue. Based on the warrant, he was not identified as a suspect until 2023. I think they ran his DNA through the system. So that wasn't thing to be dismissed. I mean, the bond's at $2,000, which is already less than I would normally do. Hesitant with the other burglary on his record to do a UGR. I just would ask him to remain the same or or maybe decrease to 1,000.
No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no replicas of weapons. He's gonna live in Fulton County, Miss Kennebrew?
Yes, Your Honor, he will.
No further contact with Paul Cameron and Maria Cameron. Stay away from 702 Catherine Street Southwest in Atlanta, Georgia. And you have an ankle monitor if it's available, paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew. Court, lawyer, medical, employment, as long as you slide the name of your employer, proof of employment schedule, and the exact location you'll be working. We'll do 1,000 through the sheriff's 10% program. Can you do that, Miss Kennebrew? He's shaking
I'm
his
sure
head,
he
yes.
cannot, but we'll try to figure it out, Your Honor. Thank you.
He just shook his head, yes. Can you do that, sir? 10% of $1,000?
No, God, please, no.
He he just got out of the Department of Corrections, Your Honor. He has no money, no
I
income.
know that, but he's got to have family though, Miss Kennebrew. All right, $500 through the Department of Corrections. I mean, the Department, I mean, a 10% program. 500 through the 10% program. Jail, I know. 10% program through the 10% through the jail program, sir. That's like $50.
Your Honor, if you're doing 500, could we not just meet at the UJR? Again, it's a 2018 case. He served 5 years. I understand the ADA's position. However, it's been 6 years. They didn't even identify him until 2022.
Tell me where is he going to live?
He is going to live at, give me 1 second. It's going to be 690 Georgia 303. Has a grandmother and an aunt that actually lives there. So he does have a place where he can reside.
Was he in for 5 years on the burglary, or what was he in for the 5 years on?
So he's not my client. I'm just covering for someone tonight. So I'm not 100% certain, but he was in custody for 5 years.
All right.
And he was transferred directly from custody to here.
Since it's not Miss Beck.
It's Miss Brown, his attorney.
All right. So we'll do a UJR to the jail. However, Mr. Scott, we're going to put on here that you, your mother and your grandmother, so you need to seek gainful employment. And I think Ms. Kennebrew has the name of somebody that I've given them that help you find employment. And you don't live free off your mama and your grandmama, okay? You got to pay them some sort of rent. I'll give you a UJR through the jail. So don't live free off them. Pay them some rent, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Stay healthy and safe. Have a good week. Thank you.
You
All
too.
right. All right, Milton, you go get the switch them out and we'll get let's see, what about Mr. Sands? Wave your hand if you're Mr. Sands. There we go. All right, position 15, Bostic 23, CP 224457, 115 days without indictment, $15,000 good bond as of December the 27th on criminal attempt to commit a felony and battery. Rah.
35 cycles, 2014 terroristic threats, currently on probation, firearm by convicted felon, sentencing 2021, 6 months confinement, 4 years, 6 months probation, 1 FTA. Nothing further.
Go ahead, Ms. Kennebrew.
I'm sorry. Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Sands is, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, I'm sorry. I kept saying that I was still muted. Mr. Sands has been in custody for 115 days without indictment. He is a lifelong resident who was born and raised here in Georgia. His family is completely local. He did attend school through the 10th grade. Prior to being arrested, he was working at the airport through a temporary service, and he was living with his girlfriend in Riverdale. He does have a 16-year-old son for whom he does or was providing support. He is working with our social worker to reestablish permanent housing upon his release, but he does have an address where he can reside, 772 5 Point South in Jonesboro, Georgia. He has never missed court of his own volition. I know that there is an FTA, but that was while he was in custody. He has no history of violent crimes, and we are asking for a bond that does not exceed $3,000.
All right. Has there been any, let's see, Ms. Rose, has there been any victim contact? Or victims?
Well,
No, Your Honor.
Yeah, it says no voicemail was left, no contact.
Go ahead, Mr. Reed.
What's his bond at now?
15,000.
Okay, I have my notes. I can go down to 10,000, but no lower, just based on the allegations in the warrant.
No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no replicas of weapons. Stay northwest. Stay away from the Georgia World Congress Center. Also, stay out of Fulton County unless you're here for court or to see your lawyer. It means you don't get gas in Fulton County. You don't even get a snack in Fulton County. You can't go to Chick-fil-A anywhere like that. You have to go straight to court or straight to see your lawyer and leave the county. You're going to have an ankle monitor if available, paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew. Court, lawyer, medical, employment, as long as you supply the name of your employer, proof of employment schedule, and the exact location you'll be working. No further contact with Omar, last name Jawara, and Somalia, I think, Sumaila, last name Iddrisu, and Yuri Morales, Yuri, last name Morales. 8,000 and 2,000. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth. Let's see, Stephen Wakeman, Mr. Wakeman. Wave your hand if you're Mr. Wakeman. All right, there we go. Position 3, Bostic, 24 PI 000429. 92 days without indictment. No bond as of January the 18th. We've got trafficking in illegal drugs, possession of controlled substance in Schedule 1 or 2 with intent to distribute, possession of controlled substance in Schedule 1 or 2 with intent to distribute, possession of Schedule 2 controlled drugs, Schedule 4 controlled drugs, Schedule 2 controlled drugs, and Schedule 2 controlled drugs. It's alleged 58.1 pounds of marijuana, 1,628.1 grams of loose marijuana, 22.7 grams of shrooms, 11.9 grams of amphetamines, 5.5 grams of CBD, 4.6 grams of methamphetamines, 3.4 grams of Xanax, 1.9 grams of cocaine, and 52 grams of THC cartridges, all allegedly.
14 cycles of violation of family violence order in 2022. Currently on probation, battery, family violence, false imprisonment out of Hall County, sentenced to 6 months, 6 months probation, 7 years, 6 months incarceration, 6 months incarceration, 7 years, 6 months probation. And then also aggravated stalking in 2022, 2 FTAs, 2022 and 2023. Nothing further.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Cazzoli.
Good evening, Your Honor. Mr. Wakeman is 35 years old. He has a good address at 4322 Stonehaven Trace in Roswell, Georgia. That's an address that belongs to his father. Me and his father have been in near constant communication since after Mr. Wakeman's arrest. I know that he's watching over YouTube right now. I sent him the link this afternoon. Your Honor, so he does have somebody in his life who is willing to keep up with him, who cares about him, who cares about the outcome of this hearing, the outcome of this case. Mr. Wakeman has his GED. He's been married for the last 13 years. Your Honor, he is willing to be put on an ankle monitor to assuage any concerns by the state and this court in terms of his former FTAs, his past allegations, Your Honor, his past convictions were unrelated to these current charges. Your Honor, despite his father's care, there would be little to no money available for bond. We understand that with the seriousness of the charges, a UJR is not possible in this case. Instead, Your Honor, we are asking for a bond not to exceed $20,000, which will be enough to ensure that Mr. Wakeman returns to court, which is the reason for bond, while he waits for indictment. He is currently being held with no bond. At 92 days, though, he is now statutorily entitled to bond. So again, Your Honor, we are asking for a bond not to exceed $20,000 in total, and for the state to hurry with an indictment if they have the evidence to do so.
All right, go ahead. What says the state?
Your Honor, just of course he's entitled to a bond, and I'll make bond recommendations that mostly hew closely to the scheduling order. Does appear to be something of an operation. The 58 pounds of marijuana is allegedly actually a growing operation. There was some marijuana plants. I was actually trying to Google how much 58 pounds of marijuana plants is. My bond recommendations are going to go after off of the standing order. It would be $25,000 for the trafficking in marijuana. I mean, given that they're live plants, I could even go up to $50,000, but there's going to be there's a bunch of other thing charges anyway. So 12,500 on the LSD trafficking, which I don't know if that's actually trafficking or if that's just possession of LSDs. I'm going with the standing order, which is 12,500, 50,000 on the shrooms, 12,500, or let's just go down to 5,000 on the THC cartridges, 12,500 on the meth, 5,000 on the Xanax, 6,000 on the cocaine, and the Schedule 2 is the amphetamine, 12,500.
Your Honor, we understand that the standing order sets certain recommendations. We would ask you to depart from the standing order. The intent of the standing order, as well as bond in general, is to ensure the defendant's return. The standing order is based on what amounts would be assigned at first appearance. It has now been 90 days after that, 92 days, in fact, after that. So we'd ask that you would depart downward from the recommendation, because also implied with the recommendation, Your Honor, is that an indictment would come within 90 days. Thank you.
All right, no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no replicas of weapons. Stay away from 200 Moonshadow Court in Roswell, Georgia. So he's got a hold somewhere else. Once he's released from that hold, he'll have 48 hours to have an ankle monitor placed on his ankle. It'll be paid for by the county if it's available, with a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, medical, employment. As long as he supplies the name of his employer, proof of employment, schedule, and the exact location you'll be working. If you're going to be living with your dad, you got to pay your dad rent and find good legal work to pay your dad rent. You're not just going to live off your dad. Looks like he's on a fixed income. All right. I don't think there was any, well, I didn't see any alleged co-defendants in the warrants when I reviewed them. So I've got 25,000, 12,000, 25,000, 10,000, 10,000, 5,000, 6,000, 10,000. You want again? 25,000, 12,000, 25,000, 10,000, 10,000, 5,000, 6,000, and 10,000. Obviously, if you can't make that, Mr. Wakeman, Mr. Cazzoli will put you back on and you'll get another bond hearing in a couple of months if you can't make that. Best of luck to you, sir. You could leave the booth.
Thank you, Your Honor. And that concludes my business today, if I may be excused.
Yes, sir. Have a good evening.
You as well.
So we're just waiting on Milton to get back with the females. Oh, and Miss Kennebrew on Lauren Dwarte. It shows
Yes, Your Honor.
It shows that there's an outstanding warrant. It says foreign warrant on Odyssey. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't. Thank you. I'll look now.
Bostic may know more. She knows all.
If you do, Bostic, keep it to yourself.
Unless you think Milton's already just left the building. What do you think, Mr. Robinson?
I think she's diligently going to look for each of these in the pod and bring them out.
I knew you'd take up for her. She's going on vacation back to the island soon.
Have you done your pre-stretching while you over there playing around? I don't want no excuses from you next week. Why you gonna be out? Because you're gonna be in traction.
It's not till 7:30, Bostic. I got a little while to do stretches.
Okay.
We'll have you over so you can join in on the little workout.
Yeah, I really do need to get back into it. I was in better shape when I was doing it a few years ago. I used to go to hot yoga every day during the summer a few years ago.
You stand the hot yoga.
I like it.
One day we're not alone. I have to tell you my story about my hot yoga business.
I had a comment, Bostic, but I'm gonna keep it to myself. I'll text you.
Don't text it to her.
It was when we were still in the jail that I was going.
I believe you.
I don't. She wasn't calm and serene.
I was. Yoga don't help me with that.
Serene.
Yoga didn't help me with that when I was going to Krav Maga. I was more calm then when I was having the opportunity to punch on something outside of work. That's when I was the calmest.
I've never witnessed that. Need to go back and ask some people.
Y'all would be amazed. I'm a lot calmer than I used to be in my heyday.
Man. I don't know about that. You believe that, Ms. Kinnebrew?
I'm a
Absolutely not,
gentle
Your Honor.
giant.
Absolutely not. I'm scared of her still, and I haven't seen her in person in a year. I love you, Bostic.
Love you too, Turkey. We're gonna get up one of these days.
Ms. Robinson, Mr. Dukes, y'all got the stuff I've already sent y'all for next week too?
Yes, I do, Judge.
Okay. Because on those, the first couple of pages are the ones that have already been indicted or whatever, if you've opened them.
Yes.
Lassie, give me go get my banjo and play for you.
No. Milton has skipped town.
I think she has. I think she left. She's probably out in the car watching the YouTube laughing at her. Well, she had somebody there to help her do this.
ACDC is the building outside the main jail.
Oh, down there on the Atlanta pretrial.
Yes,
There we go. All right, when I call your name, just come on up and have a seat. So we got Lauren, is it Dwarte? All right, position 7, 24 PI 0000052, 108 days without indictment, no bond as of January the 3rd, theft by shoplifting. Rah.
Lauren?
Yes, ma'am.
What number? I'm sorry.
Number 7.
Lauren, that's right.
I got it. 23 cycles. History of theft by shoplifting is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 3 misdemeanors, 7 felonies, 3 FTAs. Nothing further.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Kinnebrew.
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Dwarte has been in custody for 108 days without an indictment. She has been on a no bond, so she is currently legally entitled to a bond at this time. She is 59 years old. She does have a valid address in Fulton County. She is the mother of 1. She has been in Georgia for over 22 years. She did complete her GED. She was arrested on December 28, 2023. She had a preliminary hearing on January 24th, 2024. We are requesting that you set a bond that does not exceed $2,000 on her current charges. I understand that she has a history. However, the case has not been indicted. The case has not moved. It has not shifted. That is the change in circumstance for her. So we would just be requesting that the bond doesn't exceed $2,000. And if you're inclined, we'd be requesting a UJR.
And where's she gonna live? All right. Go ahead. What's the state?
Can I ask pretrial before this arrest, when was the last shoplifting arrest? What was the length of time? Well, while we're waiting, I was just trying to see this. I mean, this is obviously a extremely high likelihood of reoffense with 10 shoplifting. So I'm going to recommend a good bond of $10,000.
No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no replicas. I think that's Lenox Mall. That's where you shop, right, Miss Kinnebrew? Is that Lenox or is that Phipps Plaza?
Your Honor, I don't shop. I can't afford it, but I believe that it may be Phipps.
Stay away from Lenox Mall. Stay away from Lenox Mall and Phipps Plaza. We'll just make sure we get it right. All right. You'll have an ankle monitor if available, paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew. Court, lawyer, medical, employment. As long as you supply the name of your employer, proof of employment schedule, and the exact location you'll be working. $7,000 good bond. Best of luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Your Honor. And that concludes my appearances. May I be excused?
Yes, ma'am. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. You as well.
All right. Nicole Owens. Nicole Owens, position 1, 23 CP 222624. Nicole Rochelle Owens, 188 days without indictment. $35,000 good bond as of January the 19th. We got aggravated assault and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony.
9 cycles. Only felony conviction was in 06 for a forgery. Nothing further.
All right. Go ahead, Ms. Strong.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Owens is 36 years old. She was residing at the incident location, which was her apartment, but as a result, she has lost her lease. So she will be residing with her mother, who lives on 7,000 Roswell Road in Sandy Springs, Georgia. That's an apartment complex. She is a high school graduate. She completed 2 years of college, as well as receiving a technical certificate in computer science. She is working as a delivery driver at the time of her arrest. We have some concerns. She's 188 days without indictment. On February the 4th of this year, her blood pressure was over 180 at the jail, and it took an act of Congress to get her to the hospital. She maintains that anything that happened in self-defense when the victim was trying to break down her front door. She has a very distant record. Her last arrest, I believe, pretrial said was in 2010 and was for forgery. So we would be asking, her current bond is $35,000. We would be asking for a bond not to exceed $20,000 on both of these charges.
Been any victim contact?
I have a note that says a voicemail was left, but we have not made contact.
Your Honor, this as a reminder, just to answer that question, this is the victim who has been trying to reach out to Ms. Owens via Facebook to tell her how much he loves her and wishes she could get out so they could be together. So it is not a surprise to me that he's not returning the state's call.
And I'm sure you've told Ms. Owens don't get back together with him.
Me and her mother have both told her that. And she says that's not going to happen.
Go ahead, Mr. Reed.
The allegation is that she shot this person in the bicep. I think the warrant, if I recall when I looked at it, is that she was actually trying to get into his place, I think. I'm surprised she got a bond that low, frankly, with someone being shot, domestic partner. Without having me personally heard otherwise from the victim, I'm going to ask the bond remain the same.
Well, I do believe it was changed after one count was dismissed at a prelim. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no replicas of weapons, no further contact with Ronald Hughes. Ma'am, you have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew. Court, lawyer, medical, employment, as long as you supply the name of your employer, proof of employment, schedule, and the exact location you'll be working. And I think she said you're going to live with your mom or your dad. You also need to get a job and pay them some rent. You're not going to live there free. All right. So let's see, 198 days. Where are we with indictment on this? It's getting close to 200 days.
I don't know, Your Honor. I'm not, for the most part, I'm here to handle bond. I don't, unless there's a note, I don't have anything. I know domestic violence cases they try to prioritize, but I don't know where exactly this sits.
All right, let's see. 20,000, 10,000 on each count. Best of luck to you, ma'am. I'll put her name on my email to Miss Willis tonight.
Thank you, Your Honor. Maybe excused?
Yes, ma'am. Have a good weekend.
You too. Thank you.
Sharica Streer, position 4, Bostic, last one. Bring us home. 23 CP 220391. 270 days without indictment. $1,000 good bond as of January 17th. Fifth, aggravated assault and aggravated assault against the law enforcement officer when engaged in their official capacity. Great. Rah.
The easiest one for last. No prior arrests.
All right. Go ahead, Mr. Showalter.
Yes, Sharica Streeter. She is 41 years old. If released, she would be living in Atlanta. She previously worked for DFAX as a case manager, and she is also retired from the Transportation Security Agency or Administration, TSA, and she's also worked for Department of Driver Services. She's got 2 children, a 19-year-old and a 21-year-old, and with no prior record, there's no reason to think she's a flight risk. There's no reason to think she's a danger to the community. This is very much an isolated incident. There's nothing that's going to be repeated here. And with 270 days in jail, I mean, she's one of my first clients. She's been in there as long as I've been working here. And so I'm asking the court to lower her bond from $35,000 to $10,000.
Any contact with the victim, Ms. Rhodes?
No, Your Honor.
Right, go ahead. What says the state?
I still think that a good bond is appropriate. It's, lowering is obviously in the discretion of the court, just based on the allegation of, the ag assault against, Ms. Streeter, who I think was the mother, but then also just shooting at the officers. I think that's where I have the biggest trouble. As of this time, I mean, that's less of a bond than I would normally do. I understand she's been in custody, but I would like to see the bond pretty close to where it's at.
Mr. Showalter, you said, is she going to live in Fulton County, or what address is she going to live in?
Yes, she would be living there, and obviously because the incident location was her home, she is going to be looking at somewhere else to live. We, just to cover all bases, we've been putting in applications for shelter programs. I think right now there's one in for Mary Hall, but she also she's been here for her whole life. She's got family in the area, so she's told me of other places she's been looking at as well.
All right. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no replicas of weapons. If available, you're gonna have income on or paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, medical, employment, as long as you supply the name of your employer, proof of employment schedule, and the exact location you'll be working. No further contact with Denise Streeter, Streater. This should go without saying, but no further violent contact with any law enforcement officer. Let me see if I got the cop's name. Of course, this is coming up slow now. So there's been no contact with her mother?
Yeah, that's what I have.
Okay. Let's see, hold on, this is coming up.
But these notes may just be this most recent turn.
Ms. Rhodes, you got anything else?
No.
Okay, let's see. All right, now it's opening up. Hold on one second. Anywhere, do you know anywhere this is going to be on the indictment list at 270 days with someone with the criminal history or lack thereof that she has? No? No? Guess that's a no.
Who are you talking to? You talking to me?
Yeah, that'd be you that does the whole indictment thing, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I don't know, Your Honor. I wish I had better answers on this topic.
All right, hold on. This is pulling up so I can get this officer's name. Sorry, it's spinning, taking its own time. Of course it would on the very last case, right? Oh, there it is. All right, let's see. So she's not going to live at Olympian Way. Does she still have stuff there she needs to go get? Or is it gone, Mr. Showalter?
She has not told me of any, but I mean, it was her home, so I think put into the bond order that she may go back with police escort to get things she might need would be appropriate.
Stay away. I don't know if you know anybody that lives there, but if you have stuff there, you can return one time with law enforcement to pick up your belongings. Oh, and no further contact with Jacqueline White. Hold on, yeah, the SWAT team was called out on this. Hold on. See, so Miss she shot at. Okay, no. It doesn't have the officers' names. Obviously, no weapons, no replicas of weapons, no further contact with Jacqueline White. So let's see the ag assault. Pointed the weapon 10,000. I'm going to leave aggravated assault against law enforcement officer at 20. So I'm going to email Miss Willis and put your name in there to get on the indictment list. Best of luck to you, ma'am.
So how much was
Thank
that,
you,
Your Honor?
everybody. Oh, huh?
How much was that? 30,000 or
Yes, ma'am. It'll be 30.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a
All
good
right.
weekend.
Thank you.
Everybody, hold on a few minutes. The prosecutor called Miss Robinson, said she'd be a few minutes late.
And that was Miss Jackson, who was the prosecutor, Judge.
Okay, yeah, but we got two that were removed from the counter. Darius Smith was indicted, and then Daryl James was heard in February, so we had to push that out a little bit. If you are not a lawyer, I do not expect your microphone to be unmuted, nor do I expect your camera to be on, unless I call on you specifically. And somebody doesn't listen, it turns their camera on right away as they're walking around. Excellent.